there we are. Hopefully everything is okay.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. If anybody is out there, let us know if you can't hear anything.
There we go.
Yeah, let me actually put the chat on. Of course, Donna's my governor. There we are.
Buddy. All is well.
Yeah, let's just let the dog just do what he's going to do. I should have put it inside. Live podcast.
He's got opinions too.
Yeah,
that he would like to share.
Oh, nope.
Nope, not quite. What else you got for us?
All right. You do the intro. I'm going to bring him inside.
Hello, and welcome to the Big Dumb Monsters Network. We're hanging out here after another network movie night. We did this. Oh, buddy. Go listen to your dad. We did this a couple months ago where we all saw the movie Long Legs when that was in theaters, and then we had a group debrief afterwards, and now we are doing it with a movie that is much older, but that was re-released in theaters for its 20th anniversary. We went to go, get ready for the pun, see Saw 2004, and now we're going to chat about it. I think Brooks should be popping in at some point, either in chat or on screen. Fingers crossed, hopefully. We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Oh, all right, much better. Now he's just barking somewhere else.
Yeah, there we go. But
yeah, no, we seen Saw.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll work.
It has been a long time since I've seen this movie.
That was the first time I've ever seen it on the big screen. I watched it for the first time in my life, like last year, towards the end of last year, I think.
All right.
And since then, I have seen every single Saw movie that has been released because it has become, for me, I think everyone should have at least one of these, should have a franchise that you will dick ride to the day you die.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be horror. But I think you should just have a franchise that no matter how stupid it gets, you will follow this thing into the ground.
You're talking to a Marvel Universe fan, so yeah.
And Saw is what like gave me, hey, what's good?
Here she is.
I have made it.
Yay!
We're talking, what's your franchise that you'll dick ride until you die? Because I was talking about how Saw very quickly became mine after I watched the first movie, literally just like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for reason, I think everyone should have one of those. And Saw is the thing where I was like, oh yeah, it's delightful to have a franchise that I'll ride or die, no matter how ridiculous it gets.
Yeah. While you're thinking about that, I will say, like, watching this again tonight, I'm like, I do now want to go through and like I've seen them all like at one point, but just never like close enough together to remember actual like an overarching story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to go through them now that this is still pretty fresh.
The story is nuts too.
Yeah.
Like they just keep finding ways to like essentially like go back and weave in other ends to like change things. It's wild.
He's not dead yet. But now is he really gonna die?
And actually,
he's not dead yet.
They don't do that.
Really?
It's amazing how they work around it.
All right. Anything on the franchise yet?
I don't know. I don't usually think about it that way. I don't know.
I think Terrifier is also going down the same route for me. I saw Terrifier 3 last night.
Really?
Which was really fun.
I thought it was fun. It was awesome seeing it with a theater full of people. Like that was super fun.
Oh god, yeah.
I didn't think it was as good as the second one. I think a lot of the shock value is gone. So like
my thing is though,
yeah.
That's becoming a franchise that I will dick ride until I die because I just want to keep watching David Howard Thornton having fun. I just want to keep watching that man like love every single second
just
of
play
his
a
screen
demented
time.
Bugs Bunny, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brooks, you should totally watch the Terrifier series.
It's sort of on my list. I have a bunch, but
it happens. Anyway, Brooks, do you have anything to say about just the OG? Like, it's been a hot minute for you, correct?
Yeah, I intended to rewatch it.
You have seen it. You have done your homework.
Yeah, well, I intended to rewatch it, and by seen it, I saw it in theaters when it came out in 2004.
The thing I said immediately after the credits started rolling today was, I cannot fucking imagine seeing this in 2004 with like no precedent in a
Yeah.
theater, my brain would have melted out my ears.
So I didn't see it in a theater when it came out. I worked at a video store.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I worked there when this came out. So this was like a huge like deal. This was like the movie that we had like two
A
giant
wall of.
bays of. Yeah. And yeah, I remember seeing it then and just being like, no fucking way. When like the guy gets up, like
That blew my mind the first time I watched this movie. I was just like, I didn't even know that was allowed.
yeah, it is a very like Hitchcockian twist.
Yeah, and like its style is a little overproduced, but it also just works for the movie that winds up being made.
Ooh, excuse me. Yeah.
I remember just being so surprised seeing it when it came out because we were still somewhat freshly off of like the series of slashers that were so big in the 90s with like
Yeah.
Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those types of things. And it felt so like actually creative in comparison.
Yeah, it was something different than like 90210 slasher. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not just a person chasing people with a knife.
Mm.
it is. I did like. I really did. Like again, they not being like being less like filmy. In 2004
Mhm.
when I saw this, like appreciate like how much like they can really generate out of one small set, like for the whole movie.
It really is amazing,
Yeah.
and like that's the reason it succeeds is because some people didn't have resources at their disposal and they had to get really creative.
Yeah, it's like a play almost. Like you could do this as a play and just show like the off-screen stuff like on a video screen in the background. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
very easily. Bit of a shaky American accent from Dr. Lawrence Gordon here, but everything else about his performance makes me forgive it.
yeah,
And also just because, like, comparatively, we kind of talk, like, further back and higher up, like, in our nasal cavity. And if you're not used to doing that, it's really uncomfortable to, like, pull it back there
yeah.
for extended periods of time. So, like, I get it, man. It's whatever. Everything else about it works. Especially him losing it at the end. Like, I buy that.
Yeah, he really does sell it. Like he's frantic. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna cut my leg off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. He really is. He really is a good actor. I mean, like,
Mhm.
he isn't in a lot of stuff anymore, but I mean, he was huge for a while. He was, Princess Bride, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the accent does slip quite a few times. When he's singing like This Little Piggy to his kid was like one of them. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds British as fuck.
There were a couple points where I heard like the softer ER. I was like, gotcha.
Yeah.
But you're doing a better job than I would have done, so who cares? Imagine being Tobin Bell.
Just having to lay prone like for probably hours on end.
But also, you get paid to lay on the floor for like 2 weeks, and then you are accidentally the star of like, I cannot imagine being him. Just like, oh man, I've been doing this acting thing. I've mostly just been doing bit parts. It's been I don't know if the spotlight is
the
really
thing,
ever
yeah.
coming for me. And then some film students pay you to lay on the floor for 2 straight weeks, and you become the main antagonist of
Yeah.
a massive horror franchise.
Like 11 films later. Like,
And now
yeah.
have a legion of like just weird horror gays willing to die for you.
weird horror gaze. You missed the intro in the beginning. You caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
But he was like, welcoming everybody to the theater. It was Tobin Bell. But he was dressed in like the pimpest like leather jacket with a big gold medallion.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Like-
brother.
It was very weird. Yeah.
I love that for him. Also, there's so many hysterical pictures of him at like horror cons or whatever. There's one of him just holding this like John Kramer action figure, and he's just like looking at the camera so unimpressed. It's hysterical. Good stuff.
Oh. Yeah, we also have it on the TV right now, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
Leah Whannell's
I know
face is
too.
all eyes.
Yeah. He was actually like pretty good. You could tell like he's not really like an actor. He's more of a writer and a director.
But he's really trying.
Yeah, I thought he was good in this. Like he really like when he turns and like finally tells him who he really is, like when he's being that asshole, like he was really effective in that scene.
Yeah, and also like the weirdness of the situation will also make you forgive so much in like because like you have to do the same thing with a play where like yeah people don't really talk like this, but you know we have a story to tell, and you have to kind of do the same thing here where you only have two people in a limited space to work with.
Yeah.
So like the absurdity of the situation makes you so much more willing to forgive that, or at least that's you know why it works the way it does for me.
Donner just still going in the background.
Love that for him. He's got a lot to say. And I can't blame him.
Side note, while we're on Leigh Whannell, like I am keep going back and forth on this Wolfman movie. Like
I haven't seen it.
it's not out yet. Like it's in trouble mainly because Universal like Halloween Horror Nights like released like an image of like an actor dressed up as the Wolfman like at Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh boy.
And it does not look good.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
I really
I'll
do.
pull it up on the screen. I can't. Damn it! We need a producer. Damn it! Well, yeah,
tragic.
Usually we could show it on screen, but I have to go back to that computer.
Never mind.
And yeah, it immediately like the next day after people were like, what the fuck is this? They put out like a teaser. They're like, it's okay, like this is not like what it's gonna look like. We promise. And the teaser like really didn't help much. Yeah.
I do hate to see it.
So I don't know. Like I want it to be good, but my spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. There we go.
I still cannot get a handle on whether or not Megalopolis is worth watching.
Oh, it absolutely is. Just for the like, I said it when we were talking about it. I want to see this old white man throw his career away. Like, I want to see. He spent like 150 or like 180 million of his own dollars.
And also, this has been in the works for how fucking long?
Decades. Yeah, and
it's like
here it is. Just to see somebody go that far up their own ass. Like I need to see that.
Wow.
Yeah, that Wolfman does not look good.
It's like a reverse Mad God.
Yeah,
you poured
it looks
decades and like the
like a reverse
Megalopolis is a reverse Mad Gods. You poured millions of your own dollars into this, and it took decades. And then compare the two final products. I really shouldn't be speaking to this because I haven't seen Megalopolis yet, and it is Francis Ford Coppola, so technically, if he manages to pull it off and the trailers just don't sell it, that's one thing. It is him.
Yeah, I don't know. When you don't have somebody in your life to tell you no, like
that also can be a massive problem.
Yeah. But yeah, this Wolfman, it looks like a Spike Jonze character from like a rejected Jackass.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. And then like the other day, the director was like, "No, this is like the Spirit Halloween version of the Wolfman from our movie." And I'm like,
okay.
So you're saying it still kind of looks like this? Is what I hear. Ugh.
Yikes! You hate to see it. Anyway.
Sorry, Lee.
Yep.
This didn't bug me at the time, but watching it now, they can't saw through the giant chain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you saw through like the hook on the lock, like the loop on the lock?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, I mean, they kind of seem like it's the same gauge, but who knows?
No, the chain is way thicker than the.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Like the loop on the lock.
I mean, they do show them trying, which, like, if again, you're suspending disbelief to begin with.
Yeah.
So you're, especially on a first-time viewing, very willing to forgive it. It's incredible how many like subtle plant and payoffs there are in this movie. Like, there's at first it's like, oh, he broke the mirror, but then later you realize that it's setting up that that's the shard he's gonna find, like, use to discover that it's a two-way mirror and they're being recorded.
Yeah.
Also, another fun thing about just like being familiar with the entirety of the Saw franchise is that the meme game among like Saw franchise enjoyers
Yeah.
is incredible.
There are a ton of Saw memes. Like, there's the one I always see, like like me dying because the Saw guy would have to repeat the instructions.
Yep.
10 times.
One of my favorite variations of that I saw was like I listened to a Saw tape and then I ask Jigsaw if he's prepared to give me my like ADA required extra test time, and then the chamber opens. Yeah, some of the editing in this, like the editing choices would be so bad in any other movie, but they work here.
We are fresh off the 90s when like everything had to have a million edits and had to be really fast and jumpy.
And again, it works for this.
And this does look very Matrixy too.
Ooh, yeah. I will say this, and again, it's because they were it became a hallmark of the franchise because they were working with very little, but the like color filter to denote time, place.
Okay. Yeah, like differences. I didn't even pick up on that.
Because like the bathroom is really kind of like blue. It has that like blue light, and then you have this sort of matrixy green, and then when they do things in the past in like later Saw movies, it's kind of like that like gold.
Yeah. Even in this one, like when there's like hospital sequences, it's a little like soft lit, like fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I noticed, again, going off sidetracks, but it's what we do here on the Big Dumb Monsters Network. They do the same thing in the new Joker movie, in Folie à Deux.
I'm not even gonna waste my time.
I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is.
It probably isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to be filming Lady Gaga and she sings, that's never a bad thing.
She's good in it. She like the songs she does are really good. Like I thought she was really great at it.
Like it's never a bad thing. It's just, did we really need this here and now?
Yeah, that I can see. But they do the same thing with the Joker in that movie, where there's like the whole movie is the question: is he really like a split personality? Is there the Joker and is there Arthur?
Yeah.
And when he is Arthur, he is lit one way, and when he is the Joker, he is lit another way completely.
Yeah.
This is another thing I don't remember, the Jigsaw like pieces being cut out of people.
I recall that, but I'm also wondering, because it said this is unrated, I'm wondering what the differences were that were not shown in the original theatrical run, because I'm thinking about it now, and the first version I watched probably was just the unrated on whatever streaming service.
Yeah, it's on HBO. It's on a couple other ones.
Nothing seemed different to me.
What else? Brooks, your thoughts?
Yeah, don't let us steamroll you.
Well, no, because I haven't seen it in 20 years. I haven't played it over here, so I was trying to like jog my memory.
I genuinely forgot how many people like are like of note are in this movie. Like you have Danny Glover, what's his name? His partner. I don't know his name off the well, it's almost like I have an internet movie database in front of me. Ken Leon. He's in a lot of stuff. He was just in the last thing I remember him in was in that M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old, from like a couple of years ago.
The Beach That Makes You Old.
The Beach That Makes You Old, yeah.
Yeah, what a wild movie.
He was in that. He was in Lost, I believe. Yeah, I mean Dina Meyer from Starship Troopers is in this. Michael Emerson, again, also from Lost and Evil. He's in this. Shawnee Smith, Monica Potter. I think she was in that Nick Cage movie with the plane.
Con Air.
There we go. Yeah. She plays his wife in that. She was in a couple like 90s movies. Tobin Bell, of course. But yeah, there's a lot of like people in this movie who are in known and other stuff. And Lee Wanell is more of, like I said, more known as like a writer and a director now than an actor.
Amazing. What the hell was I gonna say? Jesus. I had something and now it's just completely gone. Anyway. Yeah, no, you're right about the like softer lighting thing here.
Yeah,
I kind of didn't.
It looks like a little bit different than like it is like that whitish tone like the room, but it looks a little less music video-y.
Oh, also, the woman he meets with was apparently one of his students.
Yeah, I like when they showed him like meeting up with her later. I'm like, I know she was in the movie earlier. I just couldn't remember where.
Why is this shirt giving Patrick Bateman?
Yeah, big time. He's just doing a crossword that's just like meat and kill and blood, like all.
Oh yeah, man, it's been a hot minute since I've seen American Psycho. Kyle refuses to watch that movie, not because he thinks it's gross or whatever, but because he thinks like if you can't make the book American Psycho visual, why did you do it?
Yeah, because there's some pretty nasty visuals in that book.
I remember I was reading that book and I had to like I started getting lightheaded. I had to stop for a minute and like take a walk.
This goes back to something we were talking about before we started recording, but I'm pretty sure that's the same cocaine that gave us Gremlins 2. Yeah.
I mean, that was playing when I walked in and I saw
better Gremlins.
I've never been more confused in my life.
I that is a very arguable point that Gremlins 2 is the better Gremlins.
Oh, we could merge the debates for you versus everyone and which is the better Gremlins into an episode of whatever happens instead of just making the entirety of one episode be you versus everybody.
We can watch Gremlins 2 on VHS to prepare because I have it.
I love it.
This is another weird thing about that movie. There's like different versions of it. I mentioned Hulk Hogan was in it. If you rented the movie, John Wayne is in the movie instead of Hulk Hogan.
Fascinating.
Like, they run like John Wayne clips and like Gremlins show up in like a John Wayne movie. And I remember watching it, like I saw it on video and like it was the John Wayne thing. And then like watching it on HBO, I'm like, what the fuck? This is like completely different. Like, what the hell?
That's so strange.
Yeah, I think there's even like a third version too that was only in the movies.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that same cocaine that gave us Gremlins 2 probably got into Bret Easton Ellis and gave us American Psycho, Rules of Attraction.
Yeah, that book it's a great book, but I never want to read it again.
Rules of Attraction?
No, American Psycho.
Oh yeah, no, both of them are like
fucking nasty, brother.
I need to shower after this. And,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Although I think it's so funny that so many of the most annoying genre of man in the world, like the like homophobic, like sexist piece of shit who like idolizes Patrick Bateman, it's like you are worshiping a book written by a gay man and a movie directed by a woman.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Shawnee Smith, icon. Also, this is like one of 2 Saw movies where she does not have the most fuck ass haircut. Worst Offender is the most recent Saw, in my humble opinion.
Is that the one that like takes place before this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They gave her a real fuck ass bob.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's not a look.
It was the 90s, quote unquote.
Indeed. Wild. I've also seen someone do a sick cosplay of this Saw trap in particular, and they have like a little button where like a little screen flips up and it has like a torn up face.
All right.
I'd have to find a video of that. It was sick. I know I'm not supposed to laugh when I see Billy, the freaky ass Saw doll, on the trike for the first time, but the first time I ever saw like the image of a guy dressed as that doll riding a trike, it was that video where he's like, you want to play a game, and then the trike gives out underneath him. So it always just evokes that for me when it's really not supposed to.
Yeah, I've seen remote controlled ones like with little dolls on them instead of people.
No, it's like a guy dressed up for Halloween, clearly in a college dorm, like pedaling a trike down a hallway, and he does the voice like, you want to play a little game, and then the front wheel pops out because he's like a football player on a child's trike. Delightful.
Yeah, I am definitely gonna. I know. Saw 2 is like notoriously the worst of the franchise,
I watched those in such
but I'm
rapid
gonna go through
succession.
it.
They all blur together. Like I'm pretty sure that happened over the course of a week.
Wow. Although I did watch all of the Fast and Furious movies in the course of like a week and a half. My brain like somehow did not turn to jello.
Sometimes you need this like the cinematic equivalent of junk food.
Yeah, it was middle of pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was like, surely going insane. And like I people like who I know like movies watch them like ironically saying they're like beautiful fucking garbage. And so far like I'd never seen a second of one of them, and like in like while we were in quarantine I was at one point just watching at least one movie a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch them all.
There's some things where they've spawned like what has become the stupidest fucking franchises, but I feel like I still need to watch the OG because it was clearly enough to spawn this shit.
Yeah.
So it had something going for it at the very beginning, at least.
Yeah, there is. It is weird that the first movie, now currently they're like international like spies and like they're on like working for the government and like it's so weird and convoluted. And in the first movie, the whole plot is them stealing a truck of like DVD VCR combos.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But like I haven't like I know like Mission Impossible is fucking stupid at this point, but I've never seen the first one. And like that's
it's
iconic.
the worst of them. The movies? Yeah, the first one is somehow the worst of them. It's not horrible, it's just super bland. It's kind of boring. In 2 they got John Woo, so it gets very like 90s actiony and like white doves everywhere and all that. And then in 3 is when they like finally figured out the formula.
Mm-hmm.
And then like from 3 on they somehow get progressively better.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the score for the first one because that's iconic.
Yeah. There's the one that U2 did the theme song, I think. Oh, here we go. 90s cringe. I think the second one was Limp Bizkit.
Fun.
Or no, it was Metallica. Limp Bizkit, I think, came in at some point.
I'm not even surprised. Yeah, this is supposed to be like serious and sinister, and it is, but I was also just thinking of that shit the whole time.
Did they ever explain the significance of this puppet?
Yeah, but that's around like the 5th or 6th. You get there eventually. I still say it's worth watching all of them. I had a blast. And also they get really fucking creative with the kills.
Yeah.
And in one of them, John Kramer tortures a health insurance executive, which like, so true, King.
I just read all the trivia on IMDb.
Oh.
Do tell.
Yeah. Lay it on us. Let's hear it.
The only part that really stood out to me was that the original plan was to have this take place in an elevator instead of in a bathroom, which would have been impossible.
Yeah. To have 2 actors and a dead body, like.
Yeah, no, even in like a big fancy New York City office building elevator.
Yeah, because then you take out the element of them not being able to like
to reach each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the only thing that was really interesting. It was supposed to go straight to video, which is crazy.
That's nuts.
Oh, wow.
There's a behind the scenes picture from the original Saw, and like it's just hilarious because it's the gritty, disgusting ass Saw bathroom, but the boom mic guy has like a crop top and booty shorts on. It's fantastic.
Am I wrong, or don't we do we find out what happens to Carrie Elwes's character in another one of the movies?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I remembered that. It's like something horrific, dude. Like, doesn't he kill himself? If I remember, like.
No.
Huh. All right. Don't tell me that.
I will not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something in the trivia about how he refused to be in the movies for a long time after this because they didn't pay him what they were supposed to for this first one.
Oh shit.
Yeah, something like they promised him 1% of the profits, and it made like $100 million, but he only saw a tiny fraction of that.
Yikes.
And they had to settle out of court, but he eventually came back. So
Yeah, hopefully they got that cleared up. Yeah, as the movie gets more intense, his acting gets more believable because I think if you're not particularly experienced with acting, you only really know what to do when something's supposed to be kind of like explosive or like very visible, not those like tiny, subtle, like, oh, my world is falling apart, but I'm not going to show it type things. Like, that's much harder to make believable than get over here, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah. This was bugging me. I couldn't remember what else Lee Wanell did. Besides,
I'm pretty sure he's involved in at least one of the other ones.
I was gonna say, besides the soon-to-be garbage Wolfman movie.
You hate to see it.
Oh,
Insidious.
he directed the Wolfman upcoming. He's directing a Green Hornet and Kato movie. It looks like, which I hope is good. That Seth Rogen one is not.
Oh,
yeah. They're making a TV series of Upgrade, which that was actually a really good movie. I just saw that recently. It's a better version of Venom, basically.
Okay.
Instead of like an alien, he has like this computer upgrade that like, lets him do shit. He directed The Invisible Man. That was a good movie. The one with
the Scientologist.
Yeah. The lady who's into the crazy religion. Elizabeth, what's her name?
I don't remember.
Moss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I only ever watched the first Insidious.
I think I tried watching it. I'm like, I just wasn't into it.
The first...
He directed the third one.
Sinister and Sinister 2 were pretty good. Oh my god,
yes, those are good movies.
Insidious The Red Door is the one that they released the cover of Stay by the Ghost released a cover of Stay by the Shakespeare Sisters with Papa Emeritus and what's his fucking face, who's the dad in Insidious.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, yeah. That's the only reason why that title means anything to me whatsoever, is because it's ghost related.
Lee Wanell was in Matrix Reloaded.
Oh no shit.
Speaking of things looking Matrixy.
That's another thing. Like, maybe the third one was a little stupid. I can't say. I haven't actually seen it, but the Matrix, the OG Matrix, holy shit.
Yeah. And then the sequels go off the rails.
We all saw Devil, wouldn't recommend. Noted.
Yeah, the elevator movie. That's right. That was an elevator horror movie. You can immediately guess who the devil is in like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh, shocker.
He's written. He did this. He wrote the second one, the third one.
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't nuts.
He actually wrote out the script for the video game. Huh.
Interesting. Oh, he wrote the original short.
There's another one in production.
Fuck yes.
I thought Spiral was decent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Anyway.
Oh, it's so obvious that these movies are like the crew is 99% men because this woman wakes up from a dead sleep in like makeup and a bra and she's got like fucking eyeliner on in one shot. Like, come on, guys. It would have been you would have saved money not having a makeup artist for these scenes. Why did you do this?
Yeah, it's true. Why is he at home at like midnight working in a shirt and tie?
I don't know. That's a trope I hate where people are like have some job, like some like very selfless job, like doctor, for example, or they'll be like a human rights lawyer or some shit, and then their spouse is like, you hate this family. I'm like, they're like trying to cure children of cancer.
I'm in the middle of surgery.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Okay.
the original rating on this was NC-17, and they had to take out a bunch of stuff to get the R rating.
What did they take out?
Yeah, I do remember that. Oh, also,
Yeah,
what's up?
it said a few things about like some of the basically some of the more like the really gory stuff, and they had to like even out the sound and the colors because it was apparently very jarring.
Well, it's probably the version we saw tonight. The unrated version is probably the original, like X-rated version.
Oh, then Terrifier 3 is worse.
Yeah. Oh, big. I mean, yeah. It is weird how like 20 years later, like that's how far we've come.
That movie was fucking gross.
Watching, yeah, dude get a chainsaw up the ass, like.
Love that. Yeah, I don't know. I get it is the thing. Like I get why people like coming off of the era of slashers and like, yeah, okay, it's just,
Yeah.
the bad guy is obvious. We know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to follow a formula. I get why people lost their minds.
Yeah, like you said, it was something different. It was, it was a twist, but not like an M. Night Shyamalan twist, like what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
2004 was that? I'm trying to think of what shitty movie he made around that era.
Probably Signs.
That's actually one of his better ones, I thought. Like,
Well,
I
that
talked
came
about
around. Signs came out in 2002.
as
But it
like
was
a
around-
shot out of context, that's fucking horrifying.
yes, yeah.
I am not gonna say what I was doing in 2004.
So 2004 is maybe like Lady in the Water, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
2006, Lady in the Water.
Oh, all right.
I was in preschool in 2004.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see. 2004. 2004 was The Village.
I still have never seen that. The twist was ruined for me, so I'm like, I don't need to see this.
Well, I mean, I feel like you could see it coming a mile away anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it is M. Night Shyamalan we're talking about here.
He's not exactly clever. Yeah.
He got lucky once, and then everyone was like, "This is your brand," and it was like, "Oh shit."
I will say we saw Trap, and it is gloriously terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some friends who have said similar. Some of my friends in my group chats have had similar things to say.
There was one point where if they stopped the movie, like it would have been a logical conclusion,
Mm-hmm.
and like it would have been an awesome but very short movie. But then it just keeps going, and it keeps getting more absurd and ridiculous. Like,
Sometimes it do be like that, unfortunately.
yeah.
I did watch his movie Knock at the Cabin, and I kept waiting for whatever the big twist was going to be, and then there wasn't one.
And
I
that's
was like,
the other thing. You can't
seriously?
rebrand.
Yeah. I guess
Seriously?
the
Like,
twist was that they changed the ending from the original book. Because
Sure.
Amanda did that book on the
Yeah,
summer.
this
book
woman
show.
is wearing mascara.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like late at night.
She's clearly wearing lipstick. And again, this thing, like, yes, he's technically considering hooking up with a student, which is fucked up. But as far as she knows, he's going to go, like, attempt to cure a child's cancer. And she's like, just leave, you horrible man. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I just feel like that's such a weak trope to reach for. You know?
Yeah.
one of my biggest pet peeves in media is like teachers or professors like hooking up with their students. Like, it's so overdone, and it's not really a thing. Like, yeah, on occasion you'll have those stories, but
It never happened in college. We'll say in high school, it definitely happened. I heard, like, it can be confirmed. Yeah, like it was a gym
I think
teacher.
it's actually more common in high schools than in colleges.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, there was a gym teacher like who was like, if you had to pick one person who was hooking up with the students, it was clearly that guy, and it definitely was that guy. Yeah.
Oh my God, a guy, one of the teachers from my high school survived jumping off a bridge after it like came out that he had been like messaging young boys, and he was like married with children.
No
It was
shit.
very messy. But with that scandalous bit of information out of the way, why does he just have a stethoscope? Like, what was the point? Like, I understand it's the whole like fear response thing. Like, it works, but I'm like, why do you have that? Did you steal that? You're an orderly.
You know what? The only reason why we have this scene is to probably just further connect him, like, to make it known it's the orderly.
Yep, point taken.
That it's probably only like for plot service that he's like,
yeah,
using that stethoscope. Because like they're not connected to anything. They're just like the collateral, like,
essentially.
Yeah.
Whack. Yeah, I really don't know necessarily how much more there is to say other than just like
it's a good movie.
It's a great movie. Like
the
fact that like my case in particular, having grown up only ever like seeing people talk about like, oh, the fourth or fifth one, and like actually and being like, oh, this is like fucking stupid. Like they're making another one of these, but then going back and watching the original and being like, oh wow, like
this was actually really good and like really innovative.
That's
like,
why it started this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that was just an absolutely wild experience to me. That has honestly happened a few times now where like I'll see something that's like up to like, like you'll watch something that's up to like 8 or 9 sequels and you're like, oh my god, like, come on, man. And then you finally watch the original and you're like, holy shit. And this is probably the like example of that for me with the highest payoff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other little like Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely another one like that where like if you're only used to these like comic like parody almost versions of Freddy Krueger
or like Scream.
Yes.
I haven't seen the original. I know they're up to like I don't know.
The last 2 are actually pretty good. Probably the best since the original, I would say.
Yeah, but like I'm sure I'm gonna go back and watch that and be like, oh wow.
Yeah, but no, I was saying like with Nightmare on Elm Street, like you get used to this like goofy version of Freddy Krueger, and then like you watch the original, like, oh yeah, no, this was actually really brutal and like nasty horror. Like there wasn't really comedy in it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that is one of the things that tends to happen with horror is like I think the building of tension in one way or another is so integral to both horror and comedy. Jesus Christ, Bridget. That if you go on long enough, you are going to wind up combining them, even if it's kind of accidental on the part of the filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to keep going with something, unfortunately, like that's a bridge you're probably going to have to cross.
Yeah, probably. If
and like that's why I feel like so many like there are several comedians who have made really successful pivots to horror, and I think it's this understanding of like how to build tension and then what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like your Jordan Peele's, for example.
Yeah, that is a perfect example. Although he hasn't really he does like put a little bit of comedy into his movies.
But like just a touch where it's like, hey, remember I was the funny guy? But that's not what we're doing right now.
Like trying to think, I think a lot of my favorite horror movies are horror comedies because it is tough to
Reanimator.
Still right here.
Nice.
Free him.
Yeah, the package is a little tricky.
But yeah, like that's one of my like favorite horror movies, and it's campy and goofy and ridiculous.
Yeah, and they all the best ones have to balance both of those sides perfectly. Like, the comedic tension, and then like once things you can't get too funny, and once things get scary, that's when you need the
yeah. And honestly, I will say there isn't zero camp in the OG Saw. It's not non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole conceit is over the top. This dude like
exactly
contraptions and being like a sick cancer patient. Like
yeah. But yeah, this is just really like it's one of those things where like I can understand why people are like, of course I'm not gonna watch that. They're up to like the 5th one now. Do it, man. You're selling yourself short. At least explore what was enough to spawn all of this.
And Saw X was pretty good.
I enjoyed Saw X
Yeah.
quite a fair bit.
I mean, especially considering the budget they had, and they did the whole thing in 18 days. The filming, like,
Insane.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
Like even before I'd ever bothered to watch this movie, and when I thought it was like still kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that. Like that's garbage. I'm not gonna watch that. I was still like, oh, I guess it is pretty cool that like they managed to work around like needing a bunch of different sets and actors, and that they got it done so fast. Like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but I'm just not gonna,
Yeah.
that type of shit. But I learned my lesson. We don't judge.
All right.
I love this
I don't know,
this
right?
VHS era of horror as well.
There
This-
really was something lost. Like
There's a
going
vibe to
DVDs.
it.
Yeah.
And it's
Even though like the movie quality is better, like
impossible to
for
describe.
some reason, like it would, that whole medium was just very conducive to like
The bitch, it's just
horror, just in
it's
general.
just that it was so like physically fragile.
Yeah.
It was only a step up from the physical fragility of like actual celluloid.
Which may or may not just burst into flames, like at some point if it wants to or not.
That's why fucking Herzog's Nosferatu, even though it's been restored into 4K like multiple times now, there are some shots where it's like just the grain is off the charts. You can hardly see what's happening because the original reels got like really humid or something when they were transporting them back to be worked on. It's like, well,
I think that's what can like make it kind of creepier or scarier, though, is because it's not as clear necessarily what's happening, and there's just
Yeah.
something in our brain that's like, no, I need to see the scary thing to understand the scary thing.
Yeah. No, there's just something like
And I know
Lost.
that you didn't like this movie, but Skinamarink, you know that pareidolia phenomenon where you pick out faces, like, or like the human brain will try to see faces.
oh yeah,
The
yeah.
amount of like VHS static that they had in that movie, you would see faces that weren't actually there.
Ugh.
Which, like, again, regardless of your actual feelings, on the
Ironically, I was the audience member that wasn't there.
movie, but like, I don't know, cool thing.
I did
Or
not
like
enjoy that.
using the medium to your advantage, or using the limitations of the time to your
Yeah,
advantage.
Yeah, hell yeah. What else?
I feel like this is the point where when I really like something, I kind of just start talking in circles because there is a very
You can only say like I like this. I
there
like
is a
this so
very
many times.
inexplicable not to fucking use French, but there is a very inexplicable je ne sais quoi type vibe to like why I like this. I can get specific, but I also get to a point where it's like I just do.
I find it interesting that there seems to be such a disconnect between like the critic reviews of this and the just regular audience member reviews.
Really? Critics shit on it?
Well,
That's
because like, where was it? Like on the IMDb page. Scroll.
I'm
Like-
sure Roger Ebert's take on this was horrible.
It has a 7.6 like viewer rating, but then like
Yeah.
the critic Metascore is 46. Rotten Tomatoes has 50%.
Huh. Yeah, no, I disagree with that.
See,
Like,
now I have to look this up.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the reviews, but it just kind of struck me as interesting that there does seem to be a pretty big difference.
I could have sworn this getting like good critical review at the time. That's weird.
Roger Ebert gave it 2 out of 4. Saw doesn't cut it as thriller.
See, I gotta disagree with that. Like, even watching it this time through, like,
Oh
by
yeah,
the time you get to the ending, everything's really tense and like you're
it's
into
really intense.
it. Yeah.
The AV
And-
Club gave it a 30, like out of 100.
Damn.
That's harsh.
Mm-hmm.
I have such mixed feelings on the work, on like Roger Ebert's body of work with film, because on the one hand he has so many garbage takes,
Yeah.
but on the other hand he like all of this was from a place of someone who just fucking loved movies with all of their being.
Yeah.
And I like that he helped set the precedent of like, don't judge a horror movie by how many boxes of the romance movie it checks. Like, take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I love that he set that precedent in film criticism, or like helped to make that more of a thing in mainstream film criticism, but God, hearing him just have horrible takes on A Clockwork Orange is so disappointing.
Yeah. I've heard like there's other things like I've heard of review.
Blue Velvet, he fucking hated that movie. I'm like, what are you talking about, you idiot?
Although TBH, I'm not a huge David Lynch fan.
And here's the thing, I so understand why it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But God, I don't know. I think if you can look at, like, would you objectively say that like there's nothing good about any of his movies?
No. I mean, Blue Velvet is good. I like Blue Velvet.
Yeah, and he's just talking about them like the only reason David Lynch made this movie is because he likes humiliating women. I'm like, no, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. No, it's not like an active dislike. It's not like a like Dave Matthews, which I fucking hate. Like
Sure.
Yeah. No, like I don't dislike him. It's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's valid. Apparently his scary cape was just like a bathroom turned inside out.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It's like a boxer's robe. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Man, some of these reviews are brutal now. Like,
I feel like up until very recently, it was en vogue to just shit on horror as a genre.
Yeah.
Like horrendously.
yeah, I mean, most of the reviews basically are just saying it's only for hardcore horror enthusiasts. It's super gross, stuff like
Well, and
that.
Who else is going to be watching this? So could we maybe have a hardcore horror enthusiast review it and like talk about that?
And I don't know if we've like just gotten used to like modern standards, but like it's not that gross of a movie. Like,
No, again, I saw grosser shit last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can think of a dozen things from the 80s that were way grosser. Like,
I feel like, but the thing is, I feel like what's in here is used to great effect, but it's not necessarily like on an individual case by case basis.
Yeah.
Like every instance isn't the grossest thing I've ever seen.
This excerpt from Entertainment Weekly, it says it has a few moments of nightmare creepiness, but it's also derivative and messy and too nonsensical for its own good.
Derivative
I gotta
of
disagree with
what?
Maybe
And it's directly below a quote from the Hollywood Reporter, which it said it boasts an undeniably original premise.
Yeah. Yeah, I
and
can't
clever
remember
plot
what it was.
machinations that lift it
Actually,
several notches. Yeah.
Like the music video look of it and like the Matrixy look of it.
I was about to say it's a little Matrixy, but in what universe is this story derivative?
Yeah.
I wish it let me click on the full article.
Mm,
Just a
that's
quote from
annoying.
it.
Yeah, the practical effects in this movie are great,
Yeah.
especially knowing what they were working with. Like I find myself thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with a lot of the critical review.
That is really harsh.
Did you see another good one?
From the AV Club. Though dumber than a box of rocks, Saw forges ahead with the kind of conviction and energy that will keep bad cinema junkies sitting bolt upright.
That's Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You really do hate to see it.
AV Club can get a little like high on their own supply, though. I think.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also sometimes you have to let things age.
Yeah, this might be a case of that because I like watching it again tonight. I'm like, this is a really solid horror movie. Like,
Yeah, like especially as a person who was I never saw this without context. I never saw this having never heard of it. So like, I don't know. There's something so refreshing about it. Even though I've seen a lot of things, like I've seen the actual derivative stuff first, and that should have made the stronger impression on me.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with anything, but why was John Kramer like arching his back when he got up? What was that
Make it
about?
look sexy. Is there anything wrong with that?
I mean, yeah, that's really kind of all I got for this. It is so original, and I think that gets lost on a lot of people who have only like seen like, oh, the fucking 10th one's coming out.
Yeah.
Do we have anyone else have any kind of concluding thoughts?
No, I just like re-impressed with this movie. Like
That's a great way to put it.
yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, and like again, you just get used to that reputation of it being like one of those horror movies. There's like there's 1,000 sequels, and like
it's like this is why they made 1,000 sequels.
Yeah, no, this is actually really good. And again, I just don't get the critical hate on it.
Yeah, that is really. Brooks, what about you? Closing arguments.
Closing thoughts. I was like, did I miss a specific question? No, I mean, again, I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I remember being very entertained. And I've always said I'm not like a horror person in the sense that I don't seek it out. Like, I don't really care about genre. I just I enjoy a good movie regardless of what it is. And so it wasn't something I would have sought out back then. I went with friends. And I thought it was, I was like, okay, I generally don't like horror, but I like this because I thought it was creative. Like, that was all I cared about. So going on what I thought 20 years ago, I enjoy this movie.
I mean,
it's wild to say stuff like that.
Also, I forgot to mention this. Why would you reach into the poop part of the tank before you check the
yeah, honestly,
the actual tank part? Like,
that was like, I'm sure that was just to gross people out.
Yeah.
Which you really don't need to do because everything is just so fucking grimy already. Like, no extra effort needs to be made to gross people out here.
Some of these are so brutal. Sicko horror film from Australia whose sadism is topped only by its absurdity.
What the hell is wrong with y'all?
That came from the Chicago Reader.
That's harsh. That is very
yeah,
harsh.
There's a lot of these that are really bad.
Yikes.
I totally forgot James Wan was like involved with this too. I'm looking forward to his Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ooh, exciting. We've also got some things to look forward to here at the network.
Speaking of segues.
I got you.
Yeah.
We've got the Rocky Horror Picture Show tomorrow night with myself and Arthur. We're doing our pre-stream and then our post-show debrief, which I'm excited for.
Are there times for those?
Yes. We're going to start the Get Ready With Us stream where I put Arthur into drag is going to be 5:30 to 6:30. And then the next thing we're going to do is at 9:30. That's going to be our little debrief after the movie.
All right. And then at 7:45, Nick and I are going to be talking Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Fantastic.
Big Dumb Monsters.
Regularly scheduled programming for Fighting with Friends on Wednesday. We're talking about the first 3 episodes of the upcoming season of What We Do in the Shadows that premieres tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow night. Yeah, I forgot about that.
We're talking about that on Thursday.
All right.
Defenestration Hour Friday?
Yes. I don't remember what movie we're doing.
Noted. And then Sunday, whatever happens, Psychological Torture Edition.
Is that for sure happening Sunday?
Oh, yes.
Excellent.
With myself and my lovely partner Kyle, and poor Nick is going to be our producer while we talk pretentious about a movie that we love and he hates, Hereditary. I'm very excited. So we're doing that, and then we've got fucking Big Dumb Monster Mash coming up.
Yes.
What a time that is going to be.
1 week from Thursday, Halloween night. I have the brand new PA system right here.
I've got my costume. I'm still making some alterations.
Yes. So
we're going to be ready.
Doing some karaoke.
We're going to have trivia.
We're working on getting some prizes and stuff.
Going to be a costume contest.
Yes. Yeah. Costume contest. So
it's going to be good times all around. And then after, we're doing Drunk and Disorderly.
Yes. I'm going to have to take off the first. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all ready.
Yeah.
That time is in. We are all set. I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's Halloween night at the Bull and Bean Eatery. That's on 140 Hamilton Street in Albany. It's right behind the OGS parking garage there. We are. Is there anything else related to that? I don't know.
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
No. Next month, though, you can find us all at Saratoga Comic Con.
Yes, you can. I have been making bracelets like a crazy person. And if you don't see one you like, I will make it before your very eyes.
Nice. We'll be in our normal spot upstairs by the panel rooms. That is November 23rd and 24th.
Come see my sexy Mothman cosplay.
Yeah, I still haven't heard if we're doing trivia or not. I hope so. There still is nothing in the late night panel, which is the one I think we should have.
Our panel did not make the cut, but that's okay.
Oh,
Next time.
At least it was considered.
It was considered, and we're still helping out with Assad's panel, so that's fine.
What are you doing for Assad's panel?
The one you guys are doing.
Okay. What do you?
Did you forget already?
Debating which is better, is like Endgame or
Infinity War?
We got roped into teams at Mid Hudson.
Did we? Oh, all right. I forgot. All right. He's not good at communicating, so I won't hear anything literally until the day of the panel.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah.
I don't remember which team I'm on.
All
That
right.
makes you feel any better.
All right. That's fine.
Yeah, we did like rock, paper, scissors. And I don't remember what that did.
We're so little
Well,
about Marvel, but we're on a Marvel movie
In
today.
my defense, I might not remember a lot about the day of Saturday of Mid Hudson.
Do any
I
of
think
us?
it was Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a quiet day.
Some quiet reflection.
Yeah, I just remember
on
the dinner
Sunday.
at Saturday night where we're all just like, it's like the dinner at the end of the Avengers when they're eating shawarma. We're all tired.
Yep.
Yep.
But also still fucked up.
Oh yeah, totally.
I am hosting. I know I have at least 2 Walking Dead actors
Hell yes.
on the Walking Dead panel. Well, what is tentatively called the Walking Dead panel. It's the Chris panel.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking with Ross Marquand and Christian Serratos. I think there's a third Walking Dead person in there as well.
Second day, Brooks and I are going to be rocking our Chainsaw Man cosplays. If you're an anime fan, go talk to Brooks. She will fucking love it.
So true.
And then the Assad panel on Sunday. I won the last one, so who's ever on my team is going to be on the winning team. I'll just tell you right now.
We'll figure out which one of us that even is.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure it was me actually, and we were doing End Game, right?
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Because he was doing Infinity War.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That was my recollection, but
You know what? I need to write that down right now.
I was starting to question my recollection of reality because nobody else seemed to remember things.
You mentioned like switching, and then I think we're sticking with the original because Assad wanted to try to beat me again, which
Okay. That is now saved information.
yeah.
Sorry, Assad.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun weekend. I am
We've
looking
got
forward.
much to look forward to at the network.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the both of those panels.
Hmm.
And then after that, it's quiet for a little while.
A little bit of chill time. I
Although
think we all deserve it.
Now that we have all this new equipment, we're gonna have to like maybe book something for New Year's if we can sucker anybody into hiring us.
I'd be down to party.
Yeah.
Always am.
So yeah, I was like, that'll do it for Big Dumb. Nope, that's tomorrow. Different show. This is a Big Dumb Monsters Network special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Network movie night.
There we go.
I added that to the network events calendar because I
which we will.
am
We have a
insane.
whole ass app that Nick. You're traveling a road that Nick tried to travel down like before. We have a whole ass app that just has the calendar. If we want to get that going again, I think it's easier than the way you've been doing it.
That's fine.
All right, because I might there's a chance I might actually update the app.
It'd be cool to have like a publicly available calendar that we can update with our shows that people could actually see what's being discussed and at what time.
might be a way to share the time tree thing. We'll figure it out.
We will look into
We'll
that.
figure it out.
Because sometimes I forget what time things are.
Yeah, I
And
have
then
to
you
check.
like go to
I have
separate
to check the
places.
Instagram feed for past posts on like what time did this show start last
And
time.
this is why I started a calendar.
Yes, I would like them in
Anyway,
list format.
inside baseball.
Indeed.
Yeah, we'll be
we
back.
can go with part of our sign-offs. Don't shake alien eggs.
And never sleep in a deathbed.
Adios, everybody.
No producer. I do it for myself.
So you are the producer.